So here's the situation for a lot of you guys. You summon on the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you got shafted. Or on the other end, you summon on Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku and you got the unit. You're one of two people. Let me know in the comment section how your summons went, but nonetheless, you probably want advice on whether you should keep summoning, or you should stop summoning, or you should save for the next thing, or you should go back on the other banners that exist. Well, there's a lot of things that go on in the Christmas period, the part 3 into New Year's, and I'm gonna bring some of these up for you, so you might want to weigh up the way you want to use your chrono crystals to make the best decision for yourself. A lot of people come into my streams directly and ask me whether they should do this, whether they should do that, but literally hundreds of you have been coming in, so I felt I should make a video like this. So I'm going to go through some possible scenarios that most likely fit one of your situations. So let's get into this. So one of the biggest, if not the biggest questions I've been getting asked is, what should I do if I got shafted in Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku? And ultimately, you need the chrono crystals to make any decision, and if you don't have chrono crystals, you can't really do anything. So what I would suggest is saving up some chrono crystals, because the ban is going to be here up until the 15th of January, right? You might be able to get at least 3,000 chrono crystals, which is a rotation, but do not summon on the banner immediately once you have 1,000 chrono crystals. It is what it is, you got shafted. You gotta have some discipline here. I would recommend saving up to 3,000 chrono crystals. The reason why I'd advise to do that is because usually in the New Year's banner, they drop all the characters that released in 2025, which means that you can possibly get Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, you can possibly get Super Gogeta. If you know you don't want any of these characters, right, any of them that dropped in 2025, so even the Diamond Super Saiyan 4 Goku, then of course the only thing you've got is Super Saiyan 4 Goku to go for. But I would still advise saving up before you commit your whole, because grinding individually 1k then losing it, getting nothing potentially, 1k then losing it and getting nothing potentially, that is a lot more painful than getting to 3,000 and then blowing it for a whole rotation. Because at least in the rotation, you're going to let all that feelings go and you will have the drive to keep going, because you're actually at a high and you're just grinding higher to another high. So 1,200, 2,000, 3,000. It's much better in my experience, and anybody I've spoken to finds it a lot easier to do that, because once you get back down to 0, you're back at the lowest of the lows and you're going to consistently keep bringing yourself down to that level. Why would you want to feel like that? So if you got shafted, the best thing you can do is get the chrono crystals that you can, play all the events. There will be more CC events closer to New Year's because of the New Year's raid, so just be a little patient and grind up all the CC first before you put your CC anywhere regarding any of the banners, especially Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That's what I advise, that's what I think is best. If you do your own thing, you shouldn't have watched this video anyways, to be honest. Mr. Miles Morales, you know, do your own thing then. Now, the next thing I've been getting asked about a lot is about Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. A lot of people have been asking me, I got Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Should I spend the rest of my CC on Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta? Because he is like the best partner. A lot of people are using Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And in my personal opinion, you do need a GT person to make Super Saiyan 4 Goku the best he can be, considering he's in conversations of being the best unit in the game. With that being the case, you want the best possible GT partner. As a result, that is naturally going to be Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. But should you go for him? Now, in my opinion, I've been telling people to wait a couple days, because Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is very good, right? But if the meta decides there's a team without Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that is the best team in the game, you shouldn't go for him and you'll probably regret going for him. However, in my experience, I feel like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is very necessary if you're going to run Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I would say he's 100% worth going for, but it could be the case in maybe 1 or 2 days that Vegeta isn't used on any meta teams alongside Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Is that very likely? No. But look at the day of the banner, the day that his banner is going to expire. It literally leaves on the 3rd of January. So you got a lot of time to make that decision. It's a couple days. Days go fast, but it's still a lot of time. So I suggest being patient and just giving it a couple days to really solidify the idea. Play PvP without Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and see how your experience is. Are you always losing to teams with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta? Is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta popping up a lot? If those are your experiences in PvP, then it would be worthwhile to go for him, because then you can join those guys with having a better team. From my experience, a lot of people are saying Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku are the best team in the game currently. In my personal experience, I would actually agree for the most part, even though I'm not a big fan of attaching Super Saiyan 2 Gohan to my GT team, but that's more like pride, you know, on some the prideful Crimson Warrior on some that, you know. But yeah, I'm not against it. I will say he's worth it. If you do want to go for him, I would recommend. But if that switches up in a couple days, don't say I didn't tell you so. Now, regarding the previous Legends Limited banners for this celebration, so we've got Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, we've got God Goku and Hit, we've got Gogeta, we've got Janemba. These guys, I would say, are more collectors besides from maybe Gohan. Gohan is 100% the meta option you're going to want, but you can definitely still use all of these guys in my opinion, especially if you like them. Now, if you're going for them for collectors, you should really have done that already without my input. Like, let's be real, man. If you like the unit, just go for them. But ultimately, you want to make the best decision, right? Because you want to factor in everything. So if they're going to be good, etc. I would say avoid any of these banners unless you're close to something like a Pity, the Ticket, the Legends Limited, Z Power, because at least then you can get the LLZ Power and then just stop summoning, right? I always advise not to buy anything unless you're going to be completely done with the banners. So what I did after I got Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I had a couple CCs left. I finished the couple steps left that I had for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I didn't go to the last step. What I did was I did enough summons to get 5 coins, and then I used it for the tickets. The point is to have 0 coins because you don't want the coins to necessarily go to waste. So the minute you have 0 coins, just dead the banner. But you need to make sure you are 100% done with the banner. But this leads into what I'm going to say next. Remember what I said earlier about the New Year's Rising banner that's going to have all the Legends Limiteds that released this year. Super Saiyan 4 Goku Daima, Super Saiyan 3 Daima, UI Goku, Vegeta Part 2, not the Ultras, but the Legends Limited. They will all be on one banner, and it's going to cost you like 1k to do it, and you can only do it once, I think, or maybe 3 times at max, if I'm not mistaken. They will all be on that banner, which is why these banners don't actually have as much value by default, especially since we're only a couple days from New Year's. If all of these LLs plus the ones that released this whole year are going to be on the same banner, why not take your chances on going on that banner versus specifically going on like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan just to chase Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and the other LLs on the banner are garbage. Like, you don't really want this Vegeta, or maybe you do. You don't really want the Super Saiyan Goku IT. Definitely not for meta, you don't want these two, you know. The Gohan Trunks you might want for meta, but you're going to need them high stars, and the rest of these guys, maybe except Super Vegeta and Future Gohan, are really buns. So why would you go on this banner when you can go on a 2025 New Year's Rising banner that's going to have pretty much every Legends Limited? It's going to be every Legends Limited that released this year minus the filler, you know? So for all reasons, I'd basically recommend avoiding the Legends Limited banners, not just for the collector's purpose, but because there's going to be a New Year's Rising banner. But depending on your coins, in that scenario, I would advise finishing your rotation or how many steps you need to get the certain thing you want to buy in the exchange shop for those summoning banners, e.g. the Z Power, the tickets, etc. Hopefully that makes sense and it puts you on the right track for how you need to spend your CC so you can make the right decision. Okay, so this is going to be the last thing for the video, and it's a general rule of thumb when it comes to summoning that I apply, especially if you're free to play and not saving beyond 20,000 Chrono Crystals because of the 20k CC cap. So my general rule of thumb is if you're summoning for any of the Ultras, you should only aim for 10 stars because going to 14 is quite unrealistic, and in most cases, depending on your summoning luck, you won't be able to get further than 10 stars anyways. But for Legends Limited, I would say the highest ceiling is about 9 stars. So for Ultras, it's 3 copies for 10 stars. For Legends Limited, I don't know the exact copies for 9 stars. I think it's about 4 or 5. But the odds of you getting 4 or 5 copies of a Legends Limited is very, very low. So what would usually happen, at least with the Legends Limited, you can get about 2 to 3 copies. That would probably happen if you're lucky. And then you Z-power them to 9. Now, why is 9 the point that you want to go for? 9 is the point you want to go for because there is an increase in percentages for the stats that the unit gets, and there's no larger increase like that up until you get to 14 stars. And 14 stars, there's also a Z ability increase. So at 9 stars, there's like a higher increase. I believe it's 5%. But then every star beyond that, up until you get the Z ability increase, which also applies to that unit at 14 stars, it's like 2%, which makes it not worth it. The 9-star difference between an 8-star unit is like leagues ahead. It might not feel like that because it's just 1 star, but trust me, in gameplay, that 8-star difference to 9-star difference will change your life. So if you actually care about Legends Limited, for example, Gohan, you should be aiming for 9 stars. If you can't get that high, 6 stars is the next lower point that's really, really good, because at 6 stars, you get the Z ability 3, which is what you would need. There's no other Z ability increase up until 14 stars. It's crazy how low it is down before there is another Z ability increase, which is the max one at 14 stars. So that's the advice for Legends Limited. In regards to ultras, 10 stars is your max in most cases unless you're the luckiest person in the world. You'd be lucky to even get one copy. In most senses, if you get one copy, you might want to just throw in the towel. I've only got one copy of Super Saiyan 4 Goku and I spent a little bit, but I'm throwing in the towel because ultra banners are just like that. In other cases, you can get lucky. For example, I have CMZ, I think I got him like first summon or something. Lucky. With Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I got 2 copies in the last 2 steps. Like it was the 3rd step and then the 3. That's just lucky. With Beast Gohan, I think I got 2 copies early on, then I just did an extra one and I got a 3rd one. But that doesn't usually happen. You know, if I was to talk about my experience with Beast and CMZ and Vegeta, it was free to play. So that gives you perspective on how lucky someone can get versus how unlucky someone can get. Not everybody's gonna have that experience, which is why I simply just say go for at least 1 copy, and if you were saving for that unit specifically, then you can throw in more CC, but 1 copy would do enough. And then just like I advised way earlier in this video, give it time. Use the unit at that 5-star level before you want to go for the extra copy at 8 stars. Use the unit at 8 stars before you go for the extra copy at 10. You might genuinely be satisfied, and the difference sometimes isn't that major. It isn't always that major, especially when you have other units surrounding them. For example, I don't necessarily feel like I need an extra copy of Super Saiyan 4 Goku because I have 2 copies of Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and I can also run Gohan, and I have higher stars than the rest of my GT units, and I got a good bench. But maybe if I didn't have Vegeta, I might really want that Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And you just gotta weigh up the scales based on your experience in PvP. Is it really that necessary to go for it, or are you just feeling for the addiction? Of course, there's not really anything else to summon for, but you could have put your CC somewhere else better. For example, you already have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but you don't have Vegeta, you can go for Vegeta. But maybe you have Vegeta and you don't have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and there's nothing else you really need. You're closest to a GT team, you put all your CC into Super Saiyan 4 Goku until you get him. Does that make sense? Hopefully the start information was very valuable because a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, that's my advice for summoning and where you should really stop. Try your best regarding the information I just displayed to you. Yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. I think this is the best video I could have uploaded right now because I've been getting a lot of questions in regarding summoning, what you should go for, what decision should you make, etc, etc. So giving you guys that information that you guys desperately so want. If you didn't need this information, why did you watch the video? I don't know. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.